Hi, I'm Stephen Klein.
And I'm Paige Clark.
And we are Healthy Fit Club.
Yes, we are.
Today, our topic is going to be if you had to pick some items to be healthy and grow grocery shopping, and premise that with the fact that all regular grocery stores don't have everything we're going to talk about. So be smart when you're shopping. What are some great things you want to fill your grocery cart with if you had 10 choices? I'm picking Paige's brain here to say, Paige, if I had to take 10 of your top foods, what should I go get to be on the right track to having optimal health and peak performance? So you gave me a list, so I'm going to pick your brain on all of these.
Okay.
You can help me out. One of them seems kind of obvious. We want dark leafy greens. Speak to that a little.
Well, the reason we want to do is we really want to create a rainbow, and there's a lot of power in our dark green leafy vegetable. Not just are we getting fiber, but we're getting the power of the pigment, the green pigment, the chlorophyll, which really helps to oxygenate our cells.
There we go. So dark leafy vegetables. That one's kind of, most people know that one, but that's why we want that one. Another one, which I think I know an example or two of this one, is cruciferous vegetables.
I'll tell you why I think the cruciferous vegetables, and most of them are green, we've got cauliflower is white, but the cruciferous vegetables are sulfur bearing, and they have a lot of compounds and phytochemicals that really help us detoxify, and in today's world, detoxification is a crucial part about being healthy.
Yes. Number 3, and these are in no particular order, by the way, so when we say top 10, you can arrange them as far as any way you want. We're not ranking them, but berries is one of them.
Berries are very powerful. And again, what we're seeing with berries is a lot of power in the pigment. Our berries are usually in the pigment range of red and black and blue. So these pigments carry a lot of powerful antioxidants for us. And they're also low glycemic, so they're a good healthy choice.
Awesome. The next one I'm going to mention is wild caught fish. And when you say the benefits, if you could briefly say why we want to stay away from farm-raised fish.
Yeah, and I think the reason that you and I are kind of going over this list, even for our listeners and viewers, is that it's what we do to our animals that makes them unhealthy. And a lot of people have wrongly categorized animal foods as being, or beef being bad. It's not the beef that's inherently bad, or it's not the fish that are inherently bad. It's what we do to them. And farm-raised fish are fish that are harvested not eating a natural diet. Since when did you know that a fish would naturally go and find some soy or corn? So we know these foods are not their natural diet. We want to find an animal that's eating its natural diet if we're going to consume these animal foods. So search for animals that are wild caught in their natural environment.
Beautifully said. And to follow that is grass-fed meats.
And all grass-fed animals are the animals that are going to have the most beneficial nutrient profile for us, and they're going to have the beneficial ratios of omega-3s to 6s. So I really recommend finding animals that are free to pasture, to roam, and to eat grass, because that's what they were designed to do. A cow that eats grass can have a life expectancy of over 20 years, where a cow who's fed the commercial diet of corn and soy is lucky to see 3 to 5 years, and I think that's a disgrace.
Sad. And I've been on a feedlot in California before, and your image of cows roaming the range from the 50s and 40s is making a comeback for the organic farmers and people that are doing what we're talking about as far as best practices, but it's a thing of the past for the people that are taking advantage of economies and scale and making money on beef.
That is the sad truth.
Yeah. And then we're going to talk about raw and cultured dairy.
Raw and cultured dairy is something that I like to have on the top of the list for the people that I work with, because, again, is dairy a bad food? No, it's not when we eat it the way we're supposed to eat it. And raw dairy, where we have all the enzymes intact to help us digest the food, you don't have the food sensitivities, if you're at what you might experience with pasteurized dairy. And there's so many good fat-soluble nutrients in raw dairy, again, from animals that are eating their natural foods, which are grasses.
Yep. One of my favorite topics is going to be the healthy fats. Most people were taught to stay away from fats, they're bad. But
fat's really where it's at. That's right.
We call it the Healthy Fat Club.
Get fit eating fat. And that is the truth. And the world's kind of waking up to that. And healthy fats should have a powerful position in your life of foods. And we want to make sure that you understand the difference between a healthy fat, which is a fat that isn't denatured or damaged with excessive heat, and that they're in a variety. We need a variety of the types of fats we get. We need some saturated fats. We need some monosaturated fats. We need some polyunsaturated fats. And we need to have the vitamins that protect us from any rancidity. And that's like vitamin E and so forth like that. And we'll find that in a lot of nuts and seeds, which I guess is another category, right?
That's correct. So
healthy nuts and seeds.
And sprouted and raw, and you're going to mention that as well? Yep.
What I really like about healthy nuts and seeds is, again, although these can be healthy, they've got the energy to grow another plant. A seed is the beginning of a new plant, so there's a lot of energy in nuts and seeds, but they have a lot of inhibitors that keep us from being able to digest them. We call these phytates or enzyme inhibitors because the seed is supposed to last, and it's not until they're properly soaked or sprouted that those enzyme inhibitors are removed. So many people have trouble digesting these things, and when we properly prepare them as our ancestors did. In our world today, we've become very hurried, and that's where I think a lot of the food sensitivities are coming, is because we're eating foods, but we're just not doing them the right way. So I encourage people to have nuts and seeds that are organic, that are grown in places that they should be, and properly soaked or sprouted.
Yeah, and most people that are eating nuts are having the dry roasted or commercially packaged and processed.
And pasteurized, because once something is pasteurized, the enzymes are gone.
Yep.
And what we're looking for is the life force, and the enzymes are important.
So watch out for that marketing thing where they say, and it's pasteurized instead of pastured, like with animals and things like that. They'll try to
That's a very sneaky little trick.
Sneaky. Very sneaky. Another one of the top 10 is carotenoids, bright vegetables.
That was just an idea for me to tell you to find the rainbow and look for vegetables and fruits that are pigmented. Mm-hmm. And I just think that's a very important. When you see, it also makes your food more palatable when you see colors. So the carotenoids, very powerful, and the anthocyanins.
I can't say.
Okay, well,
you said it.
I said it. And
give me some examples of some.
Well, we're talking about the red pigmented, and we're going to do a more detailed talk about that. But the red pigmented vegetables and so forth, and fruits.
And pumpkins count on that too, right?
Yes,
it's one of my favorites.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay, cool. Lastly, herbs and spices, and I'll preface this by saying, and that's what I meant to say earlier, preface, whatever, instead of that other word. Mm-hmm. Preface this by saying I know that I was not eating, and still not, the right types of herbs and spices as far as how they're prepared or where they come from. So if you could share your favorites, where to source them from, and irradiation, I think you were going to talk about.
Well, one of the things I want you to know is that your spices, your herbs and spices, are really nature's medicine cabinet. We have vegetables and fruits are our foods and our nutrients, and although there's a lot of nutrients and phytochemicals in herbs and spices, they're also very powerful, and we need them in small amounts, but we need them. And what I want you to be aware of is that when you buy prepared spices, many times these spices, because they're shipped all over the world, they're irradiated, and this irradiation, again, depletes the life force of the food. So you want to look for spices, if they're in bottles and so forth, that say that they are not irradiated. Same thing for your produce. If you can shop at a store that does not irradiate the produce, I don't think you're going to find that's what's going on at the farmer's market, because that would be my preferred place. Some of the natural grocery stores today do have irradiation practices, and that does impact the life force of your food. So, but do include healthy spices, and some of my favorites are turmeric and oregano and ginger and garlic and basil and cilantro. These are all things that have powerful effects in the body and are good on our food too. Mm-hmm.
So Paige, that was a world of knowledge.
That's a good one.
Thank you. That's awesome. Thank you very much for that guidance. So until next time, optimal health,
peak performance.
Thanks.